You're this perp back with another video, and this is part 2 of my Little Fires Everywhere review. And I know in my first one I made a couple mistakes, like calling Lizzie not Izzy, the youngest daughter, and Mia, that's her real name. So I apologize about that up front. These things that's just how my brain works. When I'm watching a series, it takes me a minute to just get used to all the characters. But now, I won't make that same mistake twice. But I appreciate everybody that checked out the part 1, and let's get into this review. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and follow me on Twitter at perpminer420. So this episode, that being episode 4, gets very personal, as the people that took in BB's child are kind of freaking out by her showing up at the party, and this makes them extremely very paranoid. But while that's going on, you have Izzy and Mia kind of getting closer, which I called that in the first 3 episode review that I did, part 1. And you have Lexi kind of bragging about having sex for the first time, and I think she's pregnant. I really think she's pregnant. Trip and Moody are kind of bonding. We get more of Trip in this episode. Meanwhile, you have BB kind of regretting going over to the Richardson's house and kind of making a scene, but she has all the right to, as Mia tries to encourage her to not give up on her child. And this leads to Elena finding out that Mia knows who this woman is, knows who Bebe is, and she also starts having these nightmares, Mia, about losing her child, which I feel like there's already a disconnect. Now this starts to be tension between Elena and Mia, as Elena feels some type of way about Mia lying about knowing BB. Going to, now another school dance. They had homecoming in the last one. Now in episode 4, it's like a Halloween dance. You have Pearl getting kind of closer, or just feeling something for Trip and not really fucking with Moody. And Moody, on the flip side, really likes Pearl, and Trip tries to do his best to give him advice, and he doesn't kind of take it. And I think there's going to be some friction between those two characters going forward as well. Now things get personal, as Elena gets to the bottom of this and figures out the truth. She pops up at Mia's work and sees that Bebe is there. So now things are going to get real, as she continues to help her friend out to keep Bebe's child. And she's only doing what she thinks is necessary. She's helping out a friend, but I think there's really more onto the surface with Elena's friend. But going back to Pearl and Trip, they end up having sex, and things start to become awkward, as Trip really loves his brother and feels like he kind of made a mistake. And this definitely will have effects with Pearl going forward. We'll just have to wait and see. Meanwhile, you have Elena popping up on BB, trying to pretty much buy her out and silence her. And BB is not having it. She's like, no, that is my child. I won't give up on her. And which leads to an epic scene. I think this was my favorite scene out of episode 4, when Mia and Elena are just going back and forth about being mothers, being good mothers. And I really like that. I like that scene. It was really interesting. It tells a lot about each character, which leads to a very awkward dinner with the Richardsons. And she pretty much says, I don't expect Pearl to ever show up again. I don't expect Mia to ever step foot in this house again. And even Izzy takes a dig at her mom, which I loved. Speaking of which, you have Pearl and Mia really going at it, she storms off out the crib. She sneaks out the crib and goes to the Richardsons while BB is there and trying to pretty much talk to Mia, and Mia's like full force ready to just go at it with the Richardsons at this point. Things are at the point of no return as, Elena takes in Pearl, and this kind of rubs Izzy in the wrong way because it's like, damn, you love her more than me. You're showing her more attention than me, and I'm your own flesh and blood. And that doesn't last too long as Mia pops up and says, hey, get the fuck out the house. You are no longer to show up at the Richardson's house at all, and I mean it type shit. And now the media has gotten involved with the whole BB fighting for custody of her child, but it's going to be a tough road. Now I think a lot more things will start to resurface, with things with Mia's character, and which leads me into episode 5, where now we get, a flashback of Elena and her old love, Jamie, which we'll get into later. Also, Mia's past starts to resurface, and Izzy gives some spicy backtalk to her mother, Elena, which I loved, and I called it in the last episode. Lexi is pregnant. She did a pregnancy test, and that bitch is positive. Wear condoms, people. But anyways, we get this scene of Izzy approaching Maya about this news article, and she completely denies it. It's like, that's not me, but obviously it's her. And things are really getting crazy with both just Mia, and just everything with Elena's family. As Lexi is kind of trying to deflect and not tell Brian about her being pregnant. Meanwhile, the courts have set up visitations for Bebe to see her kid, and this is where Elena's friend finds out that Mia knew the whole time, and she confronts her, which leads Elena to do more digging. So she decides to pack everything up last minute and just go to New York. This causes concern for Bill, and she's there for other reasons, but we find a lot more backstory on Elena's character, that her real name is Elena Wright and not Warren, and I'll get into why she changed her name, or somewhat why she changed her name. So she's trying to look for any information as she can, while her daughter Lexi is going through an abortion, and Pearl is there. And what's really interesting about this is that she didn't use her name, she uses Pearl's name, and Pearl's mom, Mia, told her about Lexi is just going to use you, and this is kind of starting to mess with her head a little bit, and it allows Pearl and her mom to reconnect a little bit, and she wants to know more about her father, and they open up about a lot of different things. Like, Pearl tells her mother that she had sex with Tripp, which her and Tripp kind of meet up to express their feelings towards one another and whatnot, and it was a cool scene altogether. But my whole theory is, I feel like Mia was raped, and that's why she's kind of keeping the whole father thing a secret. But this is one of my favorite scenes of this episode, because I feel like Lexi kind of needed a reality check, and Mia pretty much gave it to her. If she takes the advice, who knows? Now, back with Elena, she meets up with Jamie, her old lover, her old boyfriend. They have dinner, and she tries to get him to find information about Mia, we find out that her brother's name was Warren. That's why she calls herself Mia Warren. Her brother died in a car accident, which is really tragic. But speaking of reality checks, you know, Elena gets one from Jamie and says, like, you're a narcissist. You only care about yourself when you need something. And it's very similar to what's going on with Lexi at this point. So now the episode ends with Elena pretty much pulling up to Mia's parents' house, and come to find out that they don't even claim Pearl neither. And that's really interesting. While things with Izzy is getting really serious, she burns the apology letter that she made out of, like, you know, a collage. It was really, really cool, but, you know, I think things are going to get worse before they get any better. How you guys feel about these 2 episodes? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll have part 3 up within 2 weeks. You know, like, I like to take my time with this series, but let me know how you feel about this series overall and where this could possibly go. Till next time, I will see y'all later. Peace.
Why do you like cannabis so much? Like, what is it? Like, I mean, it's been such a huge part of your brand. I just would be interested to hear, like, why?
I should take you to my green room.
I'm fine with that. Maybe after this.
Nah, well, for one, I enjoy it for medical reasons.
Trouble sleeping?